Hi, my name is Gil Robertson, president of the African American Film Critics Association. Welcome to the latest edition of AAFCA Roundtables. Today we have in the spotlight Mr. Jamie Foxx, a recent recipient of AAFCA's Best Actor honor for his role in Just Mercy, and Dominique Fishback. They are going to be talking about the new Netflix film, Project Power. Starting from my left, I'm going to reintroduce the members of AAFCA who are participating today for you, Mr. Foxx. We have the wonderful Katia Woods, our room monitor in Philadelphia. We have our little one, Sharonda, in Atlanta. We have Emmanuel. This was a personal request of his in Chicago. We have Thomasina Farr, also in Philadelphia. We have Brandon Collins in New York, Queens specifically, I believe, the borough you're in. We have DJ Chris Stiles in Cleveland. We have Ray Cornelius in Atlanta. We have Rhonda Rasha Penrice in Atlanta. We have Tamika Newhouse, also in Atlanta. And we have our MD, Mr. Ruben Regal, in Miami. So without further ado, we are going to start this again. Thank you. Thank you both for joining us.
Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Foxx, Ms. Fishback. My name's Thomasina out of Philly. Mr. Foxx, I read that you used music to set moods on set, like you use No Weapon on the set of Django Unchained. So I'm wondering, did you use any music to spark a mood or set the tenor on the set of Project Power? And Dominique, what was the most motivating thing that you took from Mr. Foxx on set?
Well, I would, I took time out on this one to dig deep and play my whole album. all of my songs, we just continued on a continuous loop to make sure that we set the tone of, what this movie was about, who was in it, just to make sure that if someone was confused, that no. Actually, we played so many different genres of music, from hip hop, 90s hip hop, even rock and roll at one point. You know what I'm saying? So we were just trying to get so many different flavors, and just, it's sort of like it was a bit of a tough shoot in a sense because there was so many moving parts and stuff like that. So music was really key, man, to just keep the mood light.
Okay.
Are my eyebrows too dark?
No. You're cool.
And Dominique, who was just not only an incredible actress, but she's also musically inclined, spoken word, all those different things. So it was great to have her energy and see her getting down. And at one point in this movie, she does do a incredible 24 bars. She's got bars.
And Dominique, you want to share, again, the motivating thing that you got on the set?
Oh, yes. Well, one, I just want to piggyback off of the music thing. I don't think Jamie knows this, but Hot Blooded by the Foreigners became my song. That's my, I play it every day. I'm listening to music, I'm playing all this R&B, and then all of a sudden Hot Blooded comes on, and people are like, what? And it's like, Jamie, it's Jamie. But one of the most motivating moments that I had with Jamie was in the truck where I was just I just felt overwhelmed that I was acting in a movie with him, and I just kept staring at him. And then I finally said, I can't believe I'm acting with you, with Jamie Foxx. And he said, no, I'm acting with you. And I just always felt super encouraged by you. I always felt like I was more than enough, coming on a set. You and Joe are such amazing actors and have been doing it for such a long time. And I always felt like I could do it, but you don't really know until you get a chance. And so I just really appreciated all the support that you guys gave me.
Well, absolutely, listen, absolutely fantastic. And to see someone, you know, man, like having those moments, you know, to be a part of. This is just the beginning of what she is going to do, and that's why you feel so encouraged to see the young generation, young Black girl doing her thing, and like, you know, when that camera hit her, man, like that really makes all of our jobs easier. You know, it's like I've been at this for a minute, still, you know, pushing and trying to make things happen. But when you put the camera on her and Dominique, and then the directors go, ah, you know, you let out a sigh of relief that, you know, you got it right, and you know, you're watching her emerge. So it was great. And then we was hot-blooded, check it and see.
Yes, we were.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Hi, Jamie. It's DJ Chris Styles out of Cleveland. How you doing today?
216.
Mm-hmm.
You know what it is. Hey, I watched the film again last night. When you read the script of this film and talk about the part of the daughter, after you're done reading the whole script, did you think it could be a part 2 of it? Because I've seen it was different parts of it. I said, man, you can expand on it. Did you believe it could have been expanded on, or do you think it's just saving it for the next flick?
One more time. It could have been like,
yeah, like the stretched out with more parts for the daughter. Like,
yeah, because, you know, if you look at the trailer, you know, it does have the element of the daughter in it, but like, you know, with movies like these, especially with Netflix films, that format, it's always the 1-2 punch in a sense. And like now, you know, we'll get a chance to discover in the next one, you know, hopefully, but you'll find out a little more of the origin, you know, of the daughter and everything like that, and how things came about. Because you know, in this, we dip into this man's life already lived. He's already lived life. He's already had his ups and downs, his bumps and bruises. So then, you know, you leave it that way so that you can, you know, open those doors and then you know, share more of it, you know, because it's like, even when I talk to my homies about, you know, man, if you had superpowers for 5 minutes, you know, what would you do? You know, it starts off, you know, with some fun stuff, and then, you know, people sort of kind of get, you know, deep with it. So most definitely be able to explore, you know, what my daughter was about and where everybody came from, you know, in the next one.
Thank you.
Hi, Jamie. Hi, Dominique. My question to you guys is, if you could take the pill, right? What would you want your superpower to be? Like, what would you use it for?
If I could take the pill, I would, well, they kind of have this idea that what you're like inside, the pill kind of enhances. So in that sense, I am a spoken word poet, and I feel using my words is the most powerful. So I think that I would be able to make incantations, and then therefore I'll be able to have everybody's power, because I could just say a spell and get everybody's power. So that's what I would do. I can't pick one.
That's amazing.
Right? Just get them all one.
Get them all.
What about you, Jamie? What would you use that for? Like, if you could take the pill and you could morph into a superpower, what would you use it for?
Hey, mine is sort of like, just, you know, it's deep. You know, I go, you know, see, I don't have calf muscles, big calf muscles. So I would literally be Captain Calf Muscle. See, people don't understand. Like, see, everybody's sort of laughing, but, you know, summertime, that's tough for me. Okay? When I have to wear them shorts, see, I have to wear shants. See, a lot of y'all don't understand what shants are. That's shorts and pants that come all the way down to the ankle, then just a little bit of ankle exposed, then fuck. You feel me? So I would be Captain Calf Muscle. And my calves would get real big, and then whatever we need, like, you know, if the train is off the track, I just run hella fast, and then they bounce into my calf muscles. But it'd be so much calf that it would envelop the train, slow it slowly, and then I get back to jumping rope, because that's what I would do all the time. I would jump rope with a weighted rope.
I got you.
Rope has a weight, so I can.
Thank you.
you know.
Hi, Dominique. Hi, Jamie.
Hi.
So
Where you from?
I'm from it. Well, I live in Atlanta, but I'm from St. Louis.
Okay, 404.
I wanted to ask the both of you. Okay, you better know them area codes. I wanted to ask the both of you, one of the things that I find so fascinating about Project Power is how the film touches on issues that plague the Black community as far as, you know, housing, education, healthcare. And I wanted to know, how do you feel your character storylines or the film as a whole, how it would continue these necessary discussions both inside the Black community and outside of it? And Dominique, you can go first.
Oh, okay. Well, I think one of the most prominent lines that Robin said, I mean, she says a lot of great things, but when she's talking to Joe's character, and he's like, that Jamie's character is a bad guy, and she says, why is he a bad guy? Because he's done some bad things. Like you do bad things too. I really thought that, you know, that really kind of represents a whole group of people. I thought that when Jamie's character says to her, you got to use that power and leverage it. Or when she says, like, the diplomas don't determine who I am or who I might be. I think there's little moments, little gems in there for everybody to grab onto in that sense. And I appreciate just us being on camera this summer and able to do sci-fi and do action and show that part of our existence. You know, so much things is about the police brutality, and rightfully so, but there's also other parts of us that we don't get to show as much. And so in doing this movie, I think we give levity and hope and just excellence in terms of all the things that we're able to do and the stories that we're able to tell.
Well, Dominic, you listen, first of all, that's so eloquently put. And, you know, it's an interesting thing, you know, to be a Black actor, because unlike our counterparts, white actors or others, sometimes they go into their art just as art. They don't have responsibilities. And so, but it's great to have it. It's great to have the responsibility. We didn't know what we were going to be faced with in today's world now that this movie is coming out. But every little bit helps, man, because like I said, it's great to be able to lace some of those messages that we desperately need, you know, for especially our young Black folks that's coming up. And it's also nice to be able to entertain, to be able to stretch, you know what I'm saying, to be in a sci-fi. But like I said, in today's world and what we're dealing with, and like I said, I've been there on the front line, been to the protests from, you know, I've been protesting since Rodney King, but to be able to go to, you know, Minnesota, you go to Houston, went to San Francisco. And what's interesting about us as Black folk is the evolution of our message and our protests. When I went to Minnesota and I was ready, you know, ready to stand and do whatever we need to do, you come around that corner and it was 95% white people. You know, it was like, wow, look at us evolving, you know. And I talked to some of those white kids, and they're like, I said, why out here? Why are you out here screaming Black Lives Matter? And then they made me realize that their first record was a hip hop record. They made me realize that Barack Obama being president was no big thing to them because they thought that's just the way it should be. It just, you know, it blew me away. And then you think about Black Panther. You think about all these movies that we're being able to do now. It's a tough time, but it's also a time of emergence. So with a movie like Power, you know, it's not necessarily this message-filled project, but you know, to be able to have that, to be able to touch on it a little bit, and especially like I said, in what we're faced with now, it's just great. It's good.
Thank you.
Very welcome.
What's up? This is E-Man from E-Man's Movie Reviews out here in Chicago. Dominique, Jamie, thank you so much for coming out. We really appreciate it. Jamie, I feel you on the calf power. You know, I'm out here struggling with you, so I'm there with you, brother. I'm with you. I'm a little surprised. I'm a little surprised you didn't want to have the superpower of being other people's consciousness, but I get
but that mess you up though, because people, man, listen, one thing I learned, when people are honest, man, honesty don't always feel good. I'd be like, lie to me a little bit. Get nobody's head, and they'd be like, oh, that's how you really think? Mm-hmm.
So I did want to just expand a little bit on the last question. There is a bit of a sci-fi element, to this film with the drug usage, but there's also that real life component about exploiting populations of a vulnerable, inner city and so on and so forth. So I'm curious, what are both of your thoughts on if that power pill were actually real, and what impact do you think it would have on the current climate of racial injustice? Jamie, if you can go first, and then Dominique.
That's an incredible question, man. You would hope that power would to be able to straighten things out. I think if I had that power, my power would to be able to take my vision and let you see it from my perspective. The problem is that no one is looking, or no one tries to see from what your perspective is. I think that what we're dealing with now is like that 8 minutes and 46 seconds was God bless, him and his family, George Floyd and his family, but it also did something that I think we will forever be changed, because people got a chance to see through our eyes. I think that's the key to everything, the key to anyone who's crying out, regardless of color, race, gender, whatever it is, the person is crying out. If you're able to see what they feel, if you're able to feel what they feel, that's the best power of all.
Yeah, I second that. I second what he said.
Beautiful answer. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey everybody, Brandon Council Media and Popcorn Podcast in New York City. Dom and Jamie, thank you so much for joining us. My question for both of you is, because of your diverse filmographies and TV work like Dom, what do you all look for in a script that allows you to pick that as your next project?
I think
Dom, you can go first. Yeah.
Okay. I think it's kind of hard because you want to be strategic. Like, I want to have longevity. So that's something that I'm always kind of thinking about. But I also kept reminding myself, like, I didn't want to take myself too serious. If I looked and said, oh, people like me doing the deuce, right? They like me in that kind of raw, gritty role. So let me stay there, as opposed to exploring all of the things that I set out to do when I set out to be an actor. So I try to hold on to what actually feels right in my heart and in my gut. And then I look at the people who are attached to it. I gotta look at the location, because if it's cold, I don't know. No, but yeah, look at the people who are attached. And fortunately, I feel like in the work that I've been able to do, they do have a perspective on inner city people and inner city youth, which is where I come from. It's the people that I most associate myself with. So I feel fortunate that I'm able to show different perspectives within that world, to show that we're more than just one type of thing or person.
Jamie?
What? I was so caught up in her answer, man. Yeah, and you know what's great? You know what's great about Dominique is that she wants to continue, which I think is beautiful, to continue to show that I'm the artist, man. And I think that's so wonderful to see, to see that she wants to push that envelope. She doesn't want to be in a box. And that's what's going to make, I think, keep art alive. And I'm not for sure. What else? What was it?
I was just asking about what about a script helps you pick your next project?
Oh man, the check, man. I'm out here, man. I got kids, dog. Pay these bills. You see this chain?
I see it.
Set me back a couple of movies.
Well, thank you. And Jamie, the Streets need a new comedy special. So I don't know if that's in your docket, but just
say it again.
The Streets need another comedy special. Just
so hey man, when I tell you, I actually set up a stage at my house to work on my jokes. So I've been working on, like, bro, so these COVID jokes, man, when I tell you, and then my impersonation of Dave Chappelle, damn, it's crazy. Correct. It was China. First of all, it was China. We could take light, maybe shine the light in certain places. Take Lysol spray. When I tell you, hey, I'm not playing with them. And plus, I got a chip on my shoulder because every time they be talking about funny people, they don't really act like they done forgot. They ain't like they forgot. I'm gonna tear all their asses up. Everybody gonna get it. Everybody gonna get it now. And I pick scripts because, the art is where I really, put my roots. And if it doesn't speak to me, then I can't speak to it. That's.
Howdy, Jamie. Howdy, Dom. This is Tamika Newhouse, originally from Fort Worth, Texas, now living in
from the 817?
Yeah, 817. I grew up watching you for many, many years, Jamie. So I've seen you evolve as an artist. And I wanted to know, kind of piggybacking off of the previous question. When I was watching it, I saw the messages like within maybe like 45 minutes within this film, especially when they began to mention Henrietta Lacks. And your daughter is more like in the film, she was more like our modern day Henrietta. And I found that like a very powerful message in this film that I really don't want people to miss. Because these things have been done, to us since the beginning of time, where they would take parts of us to advance medicine, to advance technology. And it speaks volumes to our DNA. It speaks volumes to us overall. I want to know, was that like the key thing that drew you to this script?
I think it's all of those layers. I think anytime you can, I don't think sci-fi works without having the human quality. It's like, even when you look at like some of your greatest sci-fi, when you look at Star Wars, the reason you love Star Wars, it wasn't because of the lightsaber, it was because those relationships with Han Solo and Luke Skywalker, it was without, take all of the stars away, it was these interesting people. So when you're able to have that layer of something that you can really touch and really understand and feel, and there has been that background of that, I think that's what's great about art, especially when we do it. You could take it, and it's sort of, Michael B. Jordan says all the time, says putting the medicine in the food. It's always great to be able to push your back up against the wall of reality. Like, this could actually happen. These things have actually been done to us, and in a way of where, if you look at Tuskegee, where it's like, boom, let's see how they react. Boom, let's see where they, being the human guinea pig. We had this conversation the other night in my house, because, we're talking about all the different, the COVID, the vaccines, this, that, and the other. And it's like, man, I ain't trying to take that first batch. You know what I'm saying? That first batch, you might just a whole nother hand grow out your neck. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I say it in a joking way, but it's really real, so it's like your antennas go up. So by it being in the movie, like I said, we weren't foreshadowing where we are today, but, it really does connect. And I hope people, do pick that up when they watch the film.
And a fun fact is that Kiana Simone, who plays Jamie's daughter, she actually played young Oprah in the Henrietta Lacks story.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hi, Mr. Fox. My name is Ruben. I'm from Miami. And
305.
Yes, sir.
954.
My question is, like, you've been in blockbusters, in big movies, outside the streaming services. How do you think that now these big movies that Netflix is showing is going to affect the normal going to theaters when they start opening? And for Dominique, how's your approach when you have to work in a big movie like Project Power, and then focusing in a small project like indie film that you have said that you have done before?
I find that I keep it the same, or I set out, like I like to journal as my characters. I like to put different songs to each scene so that when all the chaos is going on around me, I could put in headphones and kind of like ground myself back in the feeling of where I was at the time or everything that I've broke down. But with Project Power, everything was going so fast, like scripts were like changing last minute. And so I had to like, it was more of like a boot camp where it's like, well, you don't get to do all of that work. So you have to trust that you have it inside of you already. And I remember being like I asked Jamie something like, oh, does it just become easy? And he just kind of said something like, oh, do I watch basketball? And I was like, yeah, a little bit. He says when Steph Curry runs and he shoots a 3 and it goes in, he doesn't question why it goes in. Like, you've been doing it for so long. So allow yourself to kind of like sit in that truth of knowing that you have been doing it for so long. I'm so used to working so hard and having to prove myself that it's just like, if it's not hard, then maybe it's not right, as opposed to being like, well, you've been doing it so long. Maybe it is right. Maybe it's just inside.
Well, I'll say this about Dominique is like, when someone is young and wanting to really get it, she didn't even realize at times she had already murdered it. Like when we would look back at those look back at the take, you know, I think what she just described, her readiness came into play because it was tough, and it was tougher on her than all of us, because she was the focal point. She was the focal point of the controversy, the focal point of, I mean, my God, we needed raincoats. And I mean, at one point she was in this rain scene, and I was like, man, please help my baby. And then they did, you know, she's Presbyterian as far as her food is concerned, right?
Pescatarian, yep, I am.
Presbyterian.
Pescatarian.
Yeah, that. Well, I just at one point I was like, get the fish.
Yes,
you better go get the fish. Don't handle, because you know I was a craft service guy, had the wrong meal at one time, and she was crushed. I said, man, if you want to get this fish right. So but it's because, man, you know, she really got it. You know what I mean? And so it's like it was great to watch her work. And as far as movies are concerned, I mean, the world has changed. You know, and who knew that we would be going through this? But I think we will be altered, literally for the next 18 months. I don't know how we get back to that normalcy. So picking projects now is. Or being in big, you know, when it comes to Netflix, I mean, they're really in an interesting position when it comes to how we move forward in the future. So I'm sure you will see several movies that will come to Netflix, you know, that will, you'll be watching it in the comfort of in the safety of your home. And until we can get things safe, you know, it'll be a while, I believe, before we actually get back to, you know, that movie experience. So what we'll probably be doing is making that experience, you know, happen at home. I just got one of the movie popcorn poppers. That make every movie dope. I was Ross Booty Call. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, okay. That was some Oscar worthy. No, ain't nobody in the. I'm looking at the boxes. I don't see no. Okay.
No.
Okay. All right. Will Smith lips. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right.
Ray.
Hey, Gail. Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me? Okay. My name is Ray, up front inside Atlanta's entertainment industry. Hello, Jamie. Hello, Dominique. So happy to be talking to you guys. Power, we kept hearing, find your power. What's your power? When did you, well, actually, let me go back. You guys already know what your power is. How are you going to use it in this new era of Hollywood, where we're calling out the injustice, where we're calling out the racial injustice that has been going on throughout our country? And how are you going to use your power to help create a new and better Hollywood?
Mm.
Well, I have a one-woman show that I wrote and I perform. It's called Subverted, and it's about the destruction of Black identity in America. And it has a slave side, it has a modern day side, and they parallel to show comparisons. I wrote that when I was graduating college, and a lot of times at Pace University, I would be the only Black person in my classes. And one time a white male said, if African-American males in low-income communities dressed normally, they wouldn't be stopped by the police. And I was infuriated. I'm from East New York, Brooklyn. I was like arguing with him. I'm stumbling over my words. And I looked around and nobody could advocate with me. And so I said, okay, instead of getting mad at him, what can I could use the gift that God gave me to, to show a perspective that they are obviously not being exposed to. So I think just hopefully with Project Power and with people, the attention on and everything that's going on, hopefully I could get Subverted to be a Broadway show or off Broadway or something like that, where more people could see it. Because I think that art really does put a face to the name. We hear names all the time, we hear numbers and statistics, but when you get to see a person, you get to spend an hour and 20 minutes loving this character, then you'll have a different perspective. You have a different heart towards them, hopefully. So that's what I want to do.
The girl got it, man. Oh my goodness. When you talk about Black Hollywood, you know what's interesting? I never had a white boss. When I came to Hollywood I came out here in 86, 87, 88. And when we came up as comedians, it was Chris Rock on stage. It was Tommy Davidson on stage. It was the Wayans. It was Eddie Murphy. It was all of these incredibly talented Black folks. And then when I got hired, I was on A Living Color. So when I walked on A Living Color, I thought I had went to the wrong set because everybody was Black. Keenan was Black. All the writers were Black. It was predominantly Black. So I never really I was like, oh, we doing it like this? I was like the white kid in Minnesota with the Black Lives Matter. I never even questioned that we couldn't do what we do in Hollywood. After I did that stint in Living Color for 5 years, I went on to the Jamie Foxx show. Guess what? I was a boss. My head writer was Bentley Kyle Evans, who was the creator for Martin Show. And all of my writers were Black. His was crazy. At one point, this was an interesting thing. At one point, after 2 years of Jamie Foxx show was killing, some people called and said, hey, we want to replace your Black writers with so-and-so and so-and-so. I said, why you want to do that? Well, you know how these things go. I said, no, I actually don't. What you talking about? And they said, well, we want to replace them with some white folks. I said, well, that shit ain't happening. And then I had to actually say, I'm not coming to set. I said, we're not doing that. And my homies was like, the people that I hired this when you talk about changing Hollywood, the people that I hired as writers, some of them wasn't even writers, but I knew that they needed to get in the system. Like some of them were just like, there's one dude sold the pagers. Remember pagers? He sold a pager, but he was funny as shit. I was like, oh, no. I need you in the room because you're going to give us that neighborhood funny. So that's how we maintained by making sure that we took people that may have been on the fringe, who didn't have the resume of the writer, but I know there's some bad motherfuckers. I said, hey, y'all gonna get in this, and now we keep marching. And I think because of the Martin shows and because of what Keenan Ivory Wayans taught me, I never looked back. Keenan taught me this. He says, when you Black, you cannot be mediocre. I said, what do you mean, Keenan? He says, if you mediocre, for one, our community, everybody cousin can do exactly what we do. Every time I get an award, I said, there's somebody sitting out in the audience going, man, my cousin do the same thing Jamie Foxx do, man. It ain't all that. And it's true. So he said, one is that. And then when we out here, he said, we got to keep it here. So that has been in my mind, my mindset. I don't even question it. Like when people start talking about Blacks, I said, what? We doing it this way. Because I remember we were doing this one show. It was a very famous sports network, and I had to host it. And all of the jokes that I had was evenly placed out. But then some of the executives came, so we don't like this joke, we don't like that joke, we don't like that. I said, well, you just took all of the white jokes that I was saying about white people and cut it, but all the Black jokes you think is cool. I said, well, we're not doing it that way. Show is in an hour. You make your mind up. And when those execs came in, they saw my Black writers and they just saw probably just some Black folks. But he didn't understand that one of them went to UCLA, one of them was a Harvard grad, one of them was USC. Then I had some homies that didn't have, Social Security numbers, but they had, they was coming with the light. I said, you don't even realize what's in this room. And the lady that came in, God bless her now, when she left, and she says, Jamie, if it doesn't go well, I'm going to lose my job. I said, you know what? This is what I do. It's going to go fantastic because not only am I Black, but I'm also universal in the way I think. All these jokes are gonna happen. And and we went out, it was gangbusters, it was amazing. She actually got promoted and things like that. So when it comes to us, pretty soon, man, it's gonna be like, I always said I want things to be like we're eating pizza. Like when you eat pizza, you don't say, I'm eating pizza from Italy. You just eat the pizza. Pretty soon, it's gonna be like, hey man, we just doing our thing. We Black and we doing our thing, and we're not having a question. We're not, and we never, here's the one thing. I never validated myself by anybody else. That's the one thing Kenan and them, we did. We didn't care what somebody thought about our jokes. We just was rocking our shit. We didn't care. We had, if swag was the word back then, we had it all. We had the culture on lock. So we will continue to press, and people like Dominique, who's like got the light on like that, will continue to support her so she could keep walking and not have to worry so much about carrying the Black race on her shoulders, but to be able to carry it in her pocket if she needs to. And you know what I'm saying? So we're in a good position.
Thank you so much, Jamie and Dominique. We certainly appreciate the opportunity today to speak with both of you, and we'll continue to support and uplift your projects as you continue your journey.
And thank you again. Thank you again, Gil. And Gil, thank you again for that wonderful ceremony, man. It was just amazing.
Well, always, Jamie, we go back a long way.
I know, baby. All right, guys.
Bye.
Put your mask on.
You guys.
Thank you.